Sonic X Shadow Generations is a collection of old and new and newer. So, as we know, Sonic Generations, which is kind of the first half of this collection, it's Sonic Generations. That bad boy came out in 2011, I'm fairly certain, and is this collection of old Sonic levels from 2D and 3D's past. This version of it is a really strong remaster. It's got, everything looks better and there's very clear performance improvements. Like in my opinion, Sonic needs 60 frames per second, for that kind of high speed, high velocity gameplay. And I'm just getting through Sonic Generations real quick because it already exists. I don't need to talk about it. No. So, and I will quickly say that there is Chao Collection in this game. It was very cute, and it's a new part of the game, but I would have loved a Chao Garden. That was my favorite part of Sonic Adventure 2. But I know that the Sonic team head has said that they're keen to make another Chao Garden in a hypothetical future Sonic Adventure 3, which I'd be very keen for. And I mentioned Sonic Adventure 2 because it's actually the first time we see Shadow the Hedgehog. And Sonic Generations opens on Sonic's birthday party, and there's one person who's not, Hedgehog, who's not there, and that's Shadow the Hedgehog. And Shadow Generations is basically the story of showing what he's doing in the meantime. So it's very funny seeing this this comparison of this fun birthday party that everyone's invited to, and then Shadow being dark and brooding and alone in his adventure. So this is basically, funnily enough, a light sequel to Shadow the Hedgehog from 2005, as it kind of continues the fight between Shadow and Black Doom, who we'll see in a bit. It's this big spooky starfish. It's the main antagonist to this game, as well as Shadow's DNA progenitor, other than Sonic. And basically, this game has very, very similar controls to your standard 3D Sonic game, except with the main difference of you playing as Shadow, so you're a lot stronger. You can see the little circle at the bottom. That is a meter that you fill up to do chaos control, which basically means you can stop time and then do cool action sequences while time is very, very, I was about to say slow, stopped. It's very stopped. It's so stopped. As well, he can shoot lasers to hit switches and stun enemies. The way he attacks other other enemies and stuff, he kind of phases to them, which is really sick. Shadow's basically always been just the cooler version of Sonic. He had a gun, he rides a motorcycle. It's very, very sick. As well, in terms of new gameplay stylings, over the course of the game, Shadow kind of unlocks different mutations that are related to the power that's being unlocked within him by Black Doom. And it's these dark, kind of gross body horror mutations. He gets these fucked up yucky wings that let him glide, and it's so yuck, but it's so
it's the
sick.
substance.
It's basically the substance if it was Sonic. And
is it actually more a symbiote stuff,
pretty
Spider-Man symbiote?
It feels
stuff?
a little venomy.
Yeah,
It
okay,
totally
yeah.
feels a little venomy.
Cool.
I would, that's actually a very good comparison. I would definitely say that
'Cause
Spider-Man.
I don't know any of the lore-y stuff.
Spider-Man is to Sonic as Venom is to Shadow.
Yeah, cool, yeah.
Big time. And it's just so funny seeing this comparison, this contrast with Sonic Generations, which is this really cutesy exploration of the relationship between 3D Sonic and his adorable little 2D self, and how the game sort of grew from those two, and then contrasting that with this dark, kind of horrid lone mission that Shadow is on, of vengeance and discovering himself, but like in this kind of fucked up way.
So is this
not a phase.
this is the new part of it, Next
Yes,
Generations?
yes.
Right.
So next to Sonic Generations, this is Shadow Generations, which is its own game.
I was going to
Yeah,
say, its own game,
essentially.
it's not just some missions and an expansion. It's
No,
its own.
no.
Okay,
So it's
right.
its own thing. It's kind of like the dark path of Sonic Adventure 2. Because Shadow's first appearance ever in a Sonic game was Sonic Adventure 2. And it's actually really interesting because you've got all these different levels which Shadow goes to. There's I haven't finished it yet, but the levels that I have played, you've got 2 acts in each level. And as we are literally about to see, a lot of these levels, I'm pretty sure every single one, once again, haven't finished, go into this like warped, Inception-y type world that is brought out by Black Doom, and
That's
every
some Doctor
single
Strange shit.
This
it
looks
is
so
it is so
good.
Doctor Strange,
Kaleidoscopic.
and this is a warped version of Radical Highway, which is the first level you play as Shadow in
That's cool.
Sonic Adventure
That's
2.
cool.
That's good
It's
references.
so sick.
Is-
This game perfectly references so much of Shadow's like arc in the Sonic world. It's sick.
Is objectively Shadow a better character to play? Like, because I've seen reviews and stuff's giving this pretty solid scores across the board. And part of it, like, for all those things you were mentioning about, like, he's got all these sick abilities and stuff, it seems like they are actually almost gameplay improvements on what Sonic is as a 3D character, which, you know,
Yeah.
I want to love, but always still has some
Well-
issues in terms of how it feels to play.
Canonically, Shadow is like the better version of Sonic. He's the ultimate life form. Like
But
that,
does that
canonically.
make for a better, is that a
Oh,
better
absolutely.
gameplay experience?
He feels better to play because he is canonically better in every way.
Yeah.
So it like this Shadow Generations to me is the perfect Sonic game.
Yeah,
and
cool. It looks it.
like
It looks so smooth.
it's so smooth. The second you turn on that 30 FPS, sorry, that 60 FPS, it is smooth. It is smooth
But also
and
in
high
in
speed.
a movement sense that you're hitting less walls. And again, that's always been my issue with Sonic. It's like I love the
Yeah.
promise of the speed and the flow.
Yeah.
And I hate, although I do love it still in this, the worst thing in the 3D worlds is that holding onto the little thing that goes
Rails.
up. They're like,
All right.
shoo, shoo, and then you hold onto this little thing and go, wong, and
But
just
it-
float up. And you're like, I was going forward.
There's still a lot of like thinking.
Do that again, Gus.
With my arms.
There's still a lot of thinking that you have to do like while you're in these high speed levels because Shadow does have these extra abilities. So like there's extra things you kind of have to consider as you're going through it.
But no guns anymore.
But no guns.
That was in
but
it.
his motorcycle is in his little like memory world, and so there are like collectibles through the course of the game that like unlock his memories, as well as like a myriad of other things.
I remember when I used to have a gun.
No joke. The way that you like remember stuff is there's a motorcycle in the middle of Shadow's like cool room that he just sits on, and you just read like lore from the past games that he's in. It's so sick. So Shadow Generations, I would say, is basically the Bowser's Fury of Sonic Generations. And but it happens in tandem with Sonic Generations. There's a bunch of like cutscenes in Sonic Generations that have been ever so slightly changed to fit in perfectly with the new lore that's come through in Shadow Generations. And shocker to people who maybe aren't super into Sonic, Sonic the Hedgehog as an entire franchise is lore heavy. It is lore heavy. And this just adds so much juice in the best way. So like in general, this is a really, really solid collection that not only like cleans up Sonic Generations in a really nice way, but
Because
also
sorry, that is still part of this. You can still at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Are you picking on a menu from the two
yeah,
games?
there's a menu where
Gotcha,
you've got both
okay,
of the
okay.
games. You can jump into Sonic Generations, give that a go, or you can jump straight into
Gotcha.
Shadow
Yep,
Generations.
yep. Hence the Bowser's Fury thing in the sense that also
yeah.
it does have those like packaged games with the 3D world.
Yes,
Okay, right.
yeah.
I didn't
so
quite...
you can't get Shadow Generations on its own. It is Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Gotcha.
But it's perfect if you've never played Sonic Generations before and you want to know what Sonic was doing while Shadow the Hedgehog was fighting God.
It was being fucking cool.
This Shadow Generations rocks so hard. I would say that it's one of the cleanest, tightest, and visually and narratively interesting like 3D Sonic games that I've played in a very, very long time. Also, one of the least buggy 3D Sonic games I've ever played. Like, if you are a
It's only
Sonic
taken
fan,
them like how many 3 or 4 games to get here?
no, yeah.
The last one, what was that Switch game? The Sonic. Breath
Not
of
the one where
Wild
we ran
Sonic.
around the big green, that like empty
Sonic Frontiers.
Yep.
Frontiers.
That was the last
Oh.
Sonic game I played.
What a
and that
wonderful
was like,
hot mess.
I tried to love it.
Yeah.
And
I don't think
this
I'll ever
has me
play
so
a
excited.
Interestingly
Sonic game
enough,
again.
there is a
No.
Sonic Frontiers level in this, which doesn't make too much sense because Shadow wasn't in Sonic Frontiers.
I don't think that matters in the terms of law. They were
And
just
yeah.
like, do
Who
a
gives a
parody
shit?
of that fucked up game.
But this, like, if you have
Oh, this is cool.
if you like want a good Sonic the Hedgehog experience
Don't play
and
a
it's
Sonic game,
dark
play a
and
Shadow game.
brooding, play Shadow Generations. And if you missed out on Sonic Generations, or you just need like maybe a tighter version of Sonic Generations, this bundle, this collection is perfection.
Cool.
I need it.
Yeah, nice.
I'm
It
actually
is
so,
so good.
excited just watching this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to go home and
Get
play
on it.
this.
Very cool.
It's so good.
Yeah, nice. 38 was the amount of times you said Sonic Generations.
You counted?
Yeah,
No, it sounds about right, didn't it?
Oh,
I've
okay.
never heard you say Generations so much in one episode.
Yeah.